What is it like to be there and see it for the first time? We've heard a lot, we've seen pictures, we hear reports from inside. What are you seeing with your own eyes?
Well, Christiana, you have to come to Gaza to understand the devastation, the destitution, and the desperation of the people here. I have never in my many years as an aid worker seen a place that has been so bombarded for such a long time with such a trapped population without any escape. So people are traumatized beyond belief. They live under the most horrific conditions. I was in the school today with 50 people sleeping in a small classroom, 250, 200 people sharing one latrine and no real water, food, too few mattresses even. We're trying to do all we can as the Norwegian Refugee Council, but we're really overstretched in this ocean of needs.
Jan Egeland, finally the international community has started to airdrop some aid. But what we saw was that some of it dropped into the sea. And the pictures are really ones of, total just panic. People are scavenging, people are fighting each other, people are trying to get the, plastic, I guess they're military rations. Can there be no better way of delivering aid even in the midst of a war?
There can be a much better way, really, and it's up to Israel with the United States and Egypt to fix it. Of course, airdrops is something of a very last resort. You do that to besiege areas as we did in Syria when the Islamic State was besieging and so on. Jordan is doing some airdrops. It's very costly, it's very limited, and very hard to do. The solution is to get the Rafah crossing and Kerem Shalom to work according to its purpose and according to its capacity. Mm-hmm. I could see many hundreds of trucks lined up at the Rafah crossing when I came today. In Kerem Shalom, it has been days with only a handful of trucks, even though they have a much bigger capacity from the Israeli side. But there they let extremists block the aid to the children and women, the innocent on this side.
It's people who are saying, how can we send aid into the people who killed our women and children and kidnapped our people? So the politics is even playing out and the trauma on the border there. But I want to ask you how you react to, let's just say, Palestinians who talked to Reuters said about the airdrops, we came throwing ourselves toward death to get some flour. We can't find anything, have mercy on us. Another said, our life has become hell. And we know, because a CNN investigation found that Israel actually fired on a UN convoy carrying food supplies earlier this month, February 5th.
Yes. And also say, it's beyond belief that people who are mourning, of course, the worst massacre in the history of Israel on the 7th of October, would believe that taking away food from children and women, completely innocent, had nothing to do with the 7th of October, can in any way help the poor hostages here. The Hamas militants have food and they are in tunnels. They have nothing to do with the people that we aid. The chaos, around the aid line is becoming worse and worse because there's so little aid coming in. Today, I'm pretty shaken actually from what I saw. The minute we crossed the border from, orderly and sparsely populated Sinai, you see the aid trucks going full speed down the road, being chased by gangs of youth who jump the trucks and before eyes loot mattresses, blankets, food, etc., to the desperate people outside who want to get some aid.
So Jan, let me ask you this. Jan, is this anarchy? Is this stealing? Or is this an attempt to distribute this, in as crazy a way as you described, to distribute this aid?
I think it is actually self-service by those strongest who have received no aid and who have grandmothers, children, nephews who are starving. People are not looting each other. They loot what they see as an international community coming with far too little to them. So then they take what they can get. We have a special way of going in with the NRC. We have had none of our trucks looted yet, and we do orderly distributions with local organizations who have to use their open trucks in a situation of desperation. And by the way, the police, which was supposed to have some order in this, was bombed repeatedly by Israel, the blue uniform police. So they are done. Now they are in civilian clothing, trying to shoot in the air. No, it's really also anarchy in some places.
Let me ask you then, because you're in Rafah specifically, you've probably had some access towards Khan Yunis, but what a lot of people are very concerned about right now, including the residents who we can manage to hear from, are in the north. There's a picture that we're going to play. It's a mother who says there's no more milk in the enclave, or at least up there. So she's wrapping a date in a gauze and letting her baby boy suck on it as if to suck all the juice out of this date. We have heard that there are stories of young children saying that they would rather die. We've heard adults say they're preparing to die. They think they will all die. Can you get to the north, where we understand there is a famine rising there? What do you know about the north? Will you go to the north?
I'm not able myself now to go to the north. NRC has eight aid workers in the north, and they are themselves starving. We got a little bit of food to our aid workers the other day, but the convoys have really been thoroughly looted from the desperation and lawlessness in this bombarded north. So there is very little aid. There is very little supplies there to start with. So famine is breaking out there. There's no other way to describe it, which again shows that the Karni crossing, which is also from Israel, Israel could fix this. They are the occupying power. They have the overwhelming military superiority. They could have convoys going over Karni crossing, which is in the middle area from where you can easily reach the north. It's very hard from here south in Rafah and Keren Shalom area.
Why do you think they are not? Why do you think a basic food and water and medicine supplies are not happening?
Well, because of what is a misconception of military expediency, let's just smash the place and thereby reach very fast our military objective. They're not haven't reached their military objective after all of these months. So I hope to see some sanity and humanity on the Israeli side. This is not the Israel I know from 40 years of cooperation, including through the Oslo Agreement. Then there was always possibilities to reason and to get aid to Palestinians in need. I hope to see days where this comes back.
So, Jan Egeland, you obviously have to have Israeli coordination, permission, whatever the word is, to get in, even from Rafah, even to talk and see what they need there. So what are you now saying to your Israeli interlocutors? I mean, do they understand the extent of the humanitarian catastrophe?
Well, I wonder, of course, there is this dehumanization on both sides. So of course, on this side, people are naturally concerned with famine among children. On the Israeli side, it is the hostages that is the number one and only issue. So I'm looking to the United States to broker now a deal whereby there is an extended ceasefire for this war-exhausted population, a release of the hostages, release from prisoners also that are sitting in arbitrary detention on the other side, and then let's reboot and start to discuss a future with some hope for both Palestinians and Israelis, security for Israel, hope and justice for the Palestinians.